Okay, so this demo is going to talk about timers, and timers have many different purposes. There's lots of ways of doing them. I'm going to do a demonstration right now on using a timer to make something happen after a certain amount of time has expired. Okay, so for example, you know how like when you get mad and you're supposed to count to 10 before you say anything? Same thing. So we're going to say, hey, so right now currently in our game, boron only shows up once we reach 3 points. So let's say 1, 2, and then one more point. When I go up the edge, I get one more point. Boron should show up right now with 3 points. Okay, well, but let's say I don't have that system in mind. I don't have a game scoring system like that. Let's say, well, I want it to happen after a certain timer, like after 3 seconds or 4 seconds or 5 seconds or something like that. A couple things. We need to create that timer. Now, timers are actually not really complicated. There's lots of ways of doing them, and just a very simple, quick and dirty way of doing a timer is to simply make a variable called timer, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then you can decide, do you want to start at 0 and go up, or start at 100 and go down, or start at 300 and go down, or whatever. There's a couple of things you need to remember. We have a variable called timer. It's a number variable. I assign it to a variable of 0. Now, just because we called it a timer, that doesn't mean the computer recognizes it as a timer. To the computer, it's just a variable name, like a score, or your age, or the number of pine cones in your game, or whatever it might be. And so right now, if we were to display that value, and I have it set up to display our timer down here, we're just going to see what that value is, and it should be 0 if I did my work right here. Okay, there it is. The timer is 0. And it's going to say 0 no matter what happens. Okay, well, it's a number, and it can be changed. It can be decreased or increased, and because it's a timer, it might increase. Okay, so the simplest of forms is just, hey, have the computer increase continuously. Okay, so one way of increasing a value is say timer equals timer plus 1. Okay, that will increase the value of timer every time this loop runs. Now, an approximate speed of this loop, which is basically this entire game loop right here, is approximately 60 times per second. Not exactly, but approximately. Okay, so if we increase timer by 1, and we do that 60 times a second, after 1 second, that number should be 60. After 2 seconds, it should be 120. 3 seconds, 180. You get how it works. Let's see if that's true, so you can actually see this happening. It's going to be really fast, so pay attention. All right, so if we run that, we're going to see our timer increase. Okay, and so you can see, so every 1 increase is 1 loop of our game. So you can see it's already done our game 600 times, right? So you can see that working. So what if we said, okay, so based on that speed right there, what if we said, okay, I want boron, so 3 seconds is about, let's say, 1, 2, 3, guys, that's like a couple hundred, right? Okay, so why don't we say once the timer reaches 200, we will show boron. All right, that works. Okay. Currently, boron is showing up when the score becomes 3. Okay, well, now I want boron to show up if the timer ever exceeds 200. So for the first 200, boron is not there, and once we hit the 200 or above, boron is there. Let's see if that works. Okay, and here we go. 100, it should be up right now. Boom, there it is. Alright, so when it reached 200, it turned on. Alright, so let's say we want it to turn off. Okay, so you wanted to have something to show up for 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, if you want something to turn off, why don't we say, okay, so once it hits, I don't know, 800, why don't we have it turned back off? Alright, cool. So once it hits 200, it turns on, and it hits 800. Well, that's the exact same code right here. Because you have a variable already created that works, we can just reuse that variable and change a little bit about this. Alright, so we said, if the timer ever hits 800, you want to turn it back off. False. That works. Okay, this is true. So once we hit 200, turn to true. And then keep going. Once we hit 800, turn it back to false. Let's see if that works. Okay, and so he's not there, and he should be there right now. Okay, sorry, and right now. right there. And 3, 4, 5, 6. Get ready. At 800 it should turn off. Boom. You see how that works. All because we had a Boolean variable called showBoron, which was controlled by a timer, which was increasing by 1 continuously, approximately 60 times a second. Okay, and we simply looked and we made some decisions every time the timer hit a certain value. We changed things. And that's how you can use Boolean variables to turn pictures on or turn pictures off.